Hi guys, welcome back. Well, a little bit different today. A little bit different because I've noticed that my Apple Mac Pro 5.1 is running a little warm. In fact, it's running very warm. So I've decided I'm going to replace the thermal paste. Let's get into it. Right, so what are you going to need to sort out the thermal paste on your Apple Mac? Well, this lot basically, that's all you need. Cotton buds, or Q-tips as they like to call them in America. 3mm, it's basically an Allen key. I suppose we could call it a hex bit as well. Tell me if I'm wrong. This one's 500mm long. It'll become absolutely apparent why you need a long one when I open it up. Now, I've gone for Arctic Clean, so that's your thermal material remover, thermal surface purifier, and then here's our thermal paste. Arctic Silver 5, that's the one I've gone for. Can of compressed air, a lint-free cloth, and a good mug of tea. Very important, don't start anything without the tea. Well, as you can see, opening this bad boy up, there is already a good accumulation of dust. So it is due a clean anyway. You should always keep your consoles, listen to me, keep your computers as clean as possible. They'll run more efficient. But this one I've noticed is running really warm. What I've noticed is my CPU, when running at 50% load, was hitting 82 to 85 degrees C. That to me sounds like it's a little bit warmer than what it should be for that amount of load. So this is why I've decided I might as well change the thermal paste, purely because I don't know when it was last done, let's be honest. So to bring you up to date, because it has had another change done to this computer. So what I've got in there now, I've got an MX500 2.5-inch solid state drive, 500GB, and that basically houses all the running programs. Now, you can't see it, it's actually in here because the connector I got for it, or rather the adapter for these trays, didn't arrive in time. My plan was to put it into tray 1, but like I say, it never arrived in time. Just chuck that one side. So who uses even a disk drive these days? The disk drive at the top's still there, but the second disk drive at the bottom, as you can see by the screws that are missing, isn't there. It's the same connector. The computer never gets moved when it's plugged in, powered up, so I've just connected it and left it, I suppose you could say, dangling in there. It's not going to do any harm, so why not? As for these 3 bays, they're all full. They've got, I've got 2 3TB and 1 6TB hard drive in there. As you can see, the graphics card there, that is a Sapphire Pulse. Let's just bring that in. Sapphire Pulse Radeon RX 580 with 8GB. Now, I went for this one purely because it was one of the ones recommended on the Apple website. Because as you all know, this is an Apple Mac 5.1 mid-2012 edition. It's the very last cheese grater that was ever made. So it's quite a rare computer at the same time. And obviously the next computer they brought out was dubbed the trash can because of the way it looks. But you can still do so much more with these computers. You really can. So by sticking in the new graphics card, obviously the old wire was completely redundant, so that had to go. New wire, got that from Amazon, got that from eBay. It was second hand, but fitted, never used, and I believe the seller because of his 100% feedback, and he had quite a few of them for sale, in all fairness to him. So that all got upgraded. The RAM at the time was 32 gigabytes. I've upgraded that again. I've gone to the absolute maximum now. That's a 64 gigabyte. I can't take this any higher without changing the tray, because I believe you can take this up to 12 teraflops, where this is running at 6. I think that's more than fast enough for what I will ever need it for. But it's the tray at the bottom that we need to take a look-see at. Let me see if I can get this out almost one-handed. There you go. So that's 1. That's 2. I can't remember if you pull them simultaneously or you pull out now. Sorry, just not the camera. There you go, simultaneously. So it is a bit dusty, and you can see now the depth of this heatsink, why I need an Allen key this long. Right, let's get this out fully, get the computer off the table, and let's give this a quick blow down and start having a closer look. Right, here we have it. So, this heatsink has to come off. To do that, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. They've got to come out. So, this should just slide down there. Oop. There it is. Now, I'm actually going to tighten a little bit first, because I want to see how tight it is. It's not that tight, which worries me. So I'm going to loosen it anyway. Alright, it's actually just gone tight again. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Let's have a go at this one a second. There we go. That's tight. That is tight. You heard it snap then. So let's just get that out. Right, I heard that crack again. That's tight. So definitely one of those wasn't tight. I'm going to just loosen the others a bit. Right, I can't. Oh, there it is. I was going to say I can't find anything. This one's not tight. Right, that's now gone very loose. I believe that's out. That also feels very loose. Come on, where are you? There you are. Yeah, I think that's off. Let's have a feel of this one again. Yeah, it's very loose now. So I think what was happening was, with me loosening the others first, it was causing that sort of effect. Right. Nope. Nope. Looks like they're still got a bit of thread left in them. Right, I think that's out. You can tell by the noise. Right, that's got to be there, surely. There we go. And looking at that, It's wet there, but don't know. Doesn't look right to me. Doesn't look right. Not one little bit. Looks as if there really isn't enough. But we'll give it all a good clean up, and then we'll get it put back together. There you have one massive heat sink. Obviously fan at that end. That's just massive. Right, let's move on to cleaning. Right, so we're going to start with Arctic Cleaner Thermal Remover. Oh, there it is. I don't want to drown it completely, but we're going to stick this on. I'll mix it up a bit with a Q-tip. It says give it 30 to 60 seconds. Obviously that's to break this stuff down and then just start removing it. So we'll let that sit on there for a moment, and then we'll get rid of it. Whew, it's a bit whiffy, I must admit. Ooh, time for a sip of tea. You know what that'll do? Start getting this cack up. Just realised I've got nothing there. Nowhere to put the dirty bloody Q-tips. Sort that in a second. See, it's cleaning quite easily. Just gently remove it all. You're in no rush, just take your time. Now I have noticed that there looks to have been a bit of cack there. Now even though I'm removing the majority of this with the Q-tip, what I will be doing is using the cloth, because these Q-tips at the end of the day, if you look at the ends of them, they are fibrous, and certainly with the finishing you do not want to leave any fibrous material on here. You just don't. But we'll use the cloth when we move on to stage 2. Right, I certainly think that's the worst. Just notice some of that material there. I don't know if that's the previous owner's fault or what. This stuff's dried out. It's everywhere, in fact. So I don't know what he'd been doing. Right, I'll finish that off a bit more. Let's move on to the CPU. Right, moving on to the GPU. It's basically the same thing all over again. So let's get a good dollop of that on there. And I'll just mix that around. Let it start working. And then we'll start cleaning it all off. Now that's interesting. Some marks on the top there, I don't know what they are. Not seen them before, so I'll take a closer look at this when I finish getting the majority of all this gunk off. Not sure what that is. At the top. Right, I'll get the rest of this. And also, you know what? I'm going to put the kettle on again. Right, I've got all the thermal paste off. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to pick this up now, but what I've spotted is a damp area. Now straight away I was worried, I thought leaking capacitors, because the area stretches from there all the way along. It's too big an area. Now the guy I purchased this off, I know he did a little bit of work on it, but I don't know exactly what he did or he did not do. So our thoughts after speaking to one of the guys, or one of the Jaffas, sorry, it's the room we're in, Planet Jaffa Cake. It could be just an overspill of something. So we're going to clean this area up, but we're going to clean it with isopropyl alcohol. And sorry if that came out of focus. This is industrial strength. This is actually, it's over 99% proof. You should only ever use that when cleaning around electronic components. So I've got an old toothbrush. I'm going to gently clean around this area, and then I've got a bit of tissue to soak it up, and then hopefully I'll check it in again in a few weeks' time, and let's see if the problem has reoccurred. If it has, then yeah, there's a chance that I've got a leaking capacitor, which is a little bit worrying, but it is what it is. So dabbing a bit on the brush, just very gently, just move it around. You haven't got to go in hard scrubbing, just move it around. You know, we just basically want to lift this stuff up. Right, I'm going to carry on with that. And also, I forgot my brew. Now, to finish off that, using number 2, thermal surface purifier. We'll use that in a second, but I thought, while I've got this there, it'd be an idea to show you guys. So, very simple spring system. There you go. There we are. And without dropping it, there we have the CPU. All that gold. That's why people want your old computers. Gold, gold. And looking on the back of this, Intel X5698 it looks like, but I can't see 3.46 gigahertz. That's the biggest CPU I can get in this machine. You can't go any bigger. You also can't put these in the wrong way. It's impossible, because what you've got here, and the same on this side, are some little notches there, and also if I get my fat fingers out of the way, you've got an arrow pointing up telling you it's got to go that way. So we'll just drop that back into place. There we go. That's in, nice and secure. Got that in? Yes, that's it. So, cleaning it up. Again, just add a few drops, that'll do. But this side, we're going to be using the lint-free cloth. So nice circular motions. You're in no rush. You want to make sure it's all nice and clean. But for good measure, a quick blast of air. Because we do not want any fibrous fibres off the Q-tips or earbuds to be on there. Right, I'm going to do the same with the others, then I'm going to stick the thermal paste on. Right, we're almost ready for the thermal paste. There you go, done that, all nice and shiny. It's also impossible to put this on incorrectly because you've got some locating pins. Sorry, it's probably easier if I show you on the board. Locating pins, it'll only go in one way. Plus, let's be honest, if you can't figure it out, that's got to go on there, there's something wrong. So, the amount to use, here we go. Now, reading up, you've got people that'll put dots everywhere, you've got people that do lines. But reading what I've read, and it makes sense, about the size of a pea, directly in the centre, when you put that on, it'll all compress and it'll squash all that out everywhere. So you don't need to drown it, but you do need to get it right. So it's about centre. That's about right, I reckon. And that'll do it. So let's get this back together. And straight away, I'm putting that on crooked. Give me a second. That's why you've got the locating pins. No. What am I doing wrong? Obviously that's got to go in there. And I'm sorry if you can't see properly now at this point. Oh, come on. It's not that difficult. Is it? No. No, miles off. It's not straight away, that's not right. It's close, but there's no cigar. Right, I'm going to fiddle a little bit. Let's just put the camera off a second. Right, after prattling about for a few moments, it was actually aligned. It just didn't feel right. So we are now just tightening up. What I'm doing is slowly tightening. Now with these, again, going by what I've read and what I've watched, you basically just keep tightening. Just keep tightening it up. Didn't have to count how many turns or anything daft like that. Just keep tightening. All I'm doing is I'm trying to tighten it up uniformly. Make sure there's a correct amount of pressure on everywhere. Now, that one's gone tight, so I'm going to go back over here. That's gone tight. That's just gone tight. Ooh. That's gone tight. Right. I was always told that once you feel it just start to go tight, you nick everything up another quarter of a turn. So that's what I'm going to do. So tight. In fact, it won't let me. So you can see then the whole thing's spun, so that is tight. And I've not put any real amount of pressure on there. Same with that one, that's tight. Yep, tight. Tight again. The last one to tighten up, the one right at the back. So that's tight. So I'm happy with that. It has to be set correctly. All that's left to do now is to get it in the machine and fire it back up again. Right, computer's all plugged in, ready to go. I've left the side off because if there's anything wrong with the heatsink, what we'll see is a red flashing light straight away. You should always get one flash of red light, no matter what, when you power it on anyway. Don't know why, but you just do. So, moment of truth. That's now powering up. And I'm waiting to hear the dulcet tones of Apple. When we do, I'll turn the camera to the telly. Well, there's no smoke. Oh, there we go. Come on. There is no constant flashing light. We are now waiting. There we have it. Dink. And it's up. Up and running. And what I'll do is I'll quickly show you. I've left my internet powered off downstairs. I was letting it do a reboot. It's no problem. Shut that all off. Oh, some support for Mac. Yeah, alright. Later. Right, there we go. So you can see here, forget that out of the way, CPU 3.5 gigahertz. 10% load running at 33. I'll zoom into that just so you guys can't see it. Again, I'm sorry about this. Oh, God, the camera and the creakiness. Close. Oh, whatever. Right, let's get that back up. So, where is it? CPU. It's running at 31 degrees C, which I assume is normal. So, you know, this is where we're looking, you know, around here. See, 64 gigabytes available, so there's nothing being used really. It's this here. Now if I click on that, no CPU heavy applications running, which is correct. But when my load, when my load was even, it was about 45% last night. That was hitting 80. So basically what I'll do is I'll do some testing now. And I'll let you know in a second whether or not this problem is sorted. Right, I've got the computer running now, and I've put it under what I would consider heavy load. I have in total got all these YouTube channels playing. So in total we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 I've got running there. I've also put my iMovie on. And I've got my video running as well. Now, obviously, as you can see, just to the left of where I'm dancing the cursor now, the CPU is only running at 54 degrees C. I was using less than what I'm using right now. And I had hit 82 to 85 degrees C. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with that. It did flash up a little bit then because it crept into the 60s. But all that running, and I don't normally have anywhere near this amount running at once. But to have that running now, there you go, just jumped up to 55 for a second. The load is running at 32. Now, I'm running less than what I did last time, but the load was 50%. So I don't know if that's because I've cleaned it, that it's not under as much load now. I don't know. That bit I couldn't answer. But as far as I can see, this is a success because that temperature, all right, to run at 55, it's now starting to get warm. But at 55, 56 degrees C, I'm happy with that. Because previously, and maybe I should have shown it you, previously that would have been hitting 80. 100% guarantee it would have been hitting 80. So I'm really happy with that. You know, yes, I bought a second-hand computer. Yes, I've expanded it and I've made it better. In fact, I just remembered there's one other thing I've not shown you. I'll quickly show you that and then we'll wrap this up. Can you see it there? PCI card. Go on, get back into focus, you bugger. Probably see it better at that angle. Right, PCI card. Plug and play. That guarantees me that on a mid-2012 Mac Pro that I have got USB 3.0 and it also powers. That might not seem a lot, but on a computer this old, that is magic because it means I can use more updated equipment which will only accept USB 3.0. As you can see, there's me 3 hard drives. Purple WD, green WD and a Barracuda. 3 and a 6 terabyte. Right, I'm going to wrap this one up there, guys. Hope this has been informative. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Catch you all again. Take care.